So, when I was preparing for the Beethoven cyclist, so to say, Opus 14, the two sonatas that I'm going to play this month and next month, I was thinking, it was just a reflection that I thought might be interesting to share with you. What would happen if Beethoven would live today and if he would write exactly the same music as today? Of course, those two questions we will never have the answer to that, and the chance would be even very small that if he lived today he would write exactly the same music. But it's just an exercise of thoughts, because and for those of you who are now new to the channel, maybe not know that I've played 6 or 7 works by our Greek friend Kostas Papazafaropoulos. It's a beautiful surname, but he's a guy who writes, in fact, in late 18th, early 19th century style, and he's very good. So people who listen to that music on my channel, they love it, and I really think he deserves all the praise for that. But a little bit to my surprise, and also not too much to my surprise, as you say, that kind of music written today gets not a recognition of other newly composed classical music. So, and I wonder a little bit. I understand from the earlier times, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century, people never looked back. Perhaps they started to look back at the end of the 18th century when counterpoint fascination came again on stage, but in smaller circles. Mozart started to practice counterpoint. Beethoven even played the Wohltemperiertes Klavier when he was a teenager. So in smaller circles there was a fascination again for counterpoint. In the Baron von Swieten library, where Baron von Swieten was director of, there were concerts, private concerts with Wohltemperiertes Klavier of Bach. Mozart played there, and also Beethoven played later there. So there was a fascination for counterpoint that also found a way to new music, but brought on stage as new music. They didn't play a concert in public with music of Bach. So the audience expected to have something new, and even as a composer of those days, so Mozart should not come with his Munich sonatas while being in Vienna. Beethoven, it's changed. Beethoven's work started to be a kind of a monument that people started to play later and in concerts as music of the past. So it's started to change there, but we still live today in the fascination for new things, for progress, maybe more than we think. And also with this historically informed performance practice, we look back, but maybe also there a little bit partly taking only the example of tempo and movement. I've been covering that quite a lot on the channel, and I will do that again. But if I play the Grave, I'll just suggest that the Grave of the Pathétique may have sounded like that. It surprised me always, even in the people and the group of people who are supposed to do the research on that if you do research or experimentation on that there is kind of emotional reaction to that, even on a level of that I would never respond to someone else, even, and certainly not if it's a colleague musician. Those things would maybe not being said if people would meet in real life, but that's maybe another topic. But the same applies for that music. It's new, it's something our mind is not used to, and maybe there's a kind of fear reflex of change. And the first thing that people do when the inner part of the brain is activated, they start to have a kind of reflection of fear and start to oppose something. But if you compare that with the instrument building, and I mean the music that's written today, like someone as Kostas Papazafaropoulos, and if you're new to the channel, I have a playlist. It's really worth checking his music out. Then if you compare that to the instrument building, there's a big difference. My clavichord, and if you are a harpsichord player or pianoforte player and you have a copy of an instrument newly built, there is overall an admiration for the craftsmanship that goes into that, making of that. There is an understanding also, even in the general public, people are not close to that matter. If they are confronted with my clavichord, there is an admiration for the way it's made, the way that the builder had certainly to do extensive research, build instruments over and over again, try things out to come as close to that original quality that we all admire, because it was a high standard in those days. So there is a complete acceptance of the existence of that part of our early music scene, if I may say so, where instruments are in a copy, are copied instruments get the recognition they deserve. Of course, we need them if we want to play that music on period instruments. That's true. But you could say the same of music that's written today. I find it very refreshing to play music by Kostas. It's different. I needed to have time to adapt also to that new language, but because even if he is very close in the style, he studied that, he knows every bar of Mozart's work by heart. So we should not think that it's easy to write in that style. It's very difficult, but it has a personal touch. And it should have a personal touch. It's like an instrument that's copied. If you have a pure copy, most of the times that's a kind of boring instrument. The instrument builder should have the courage to integrate his personality in the instrument, and then it becomes very difficult, because where is the border, where's the line where you cross the style? It's difficult for us to judge on that, but there are future generations who can judge on instruments that are built today, if they are really in style or not, and hopefully they make progress, whatever progress that then is. So the same for the music. If you play the music of Kostas, hear it for the first time, it's a little bit weird, because our mind is not used to hear music written in that style that we cannot identify. If it's Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, there's something in between. Sometimes there's a personal touch. There's really close to what he's doing. And if you ask people blindly what you think of this music, you see that they start to look for references which there are and there are not. So there is a mindset to that, and I can understand that. But overall, the question, if Beethoven lived today and if he would write the same music, what would happen then? I don't think that he would get a lot of recognition. And that's my point. That should maybe open our minds to a new kind of thinking, where that music, like Kostas, and there are many others who are writing on the same level, that might be interesting to give those people more of a chance, because that's what they need. I know from Kostas, he really wants to write an opera. He's very close in his heart to Mozart, so it shouldn't surprise us. He's even working on that. But the way he's talking on the libretto and the difficulties and what the libretto should be, what the standard should be, in order to give him the possibility to translate that into music, that goes really deep. And I sometimes wonder, and I'm surprised also, that there is no director of an opera house in the world, now director or principal concert hall, thinking on the fact that if you would give a chance to people like him to write an opera in more or less a Mozart style, it's his style, but it is related to the style that many people today like and love. And if they would just promote that in a way that would work and would open people's minds, I think that would also commercially be a big success. Why not try it out? So I hope that will change, along with the early music scene, where we not only play that old music on newly built instruments in that early style, but that maybe also part of that can be dedicated to newly written music in that early style, and that we take that to the scene, to the performance scene. I think that would be an addition to that early music movement. Very refreshing. Collaboration with the composer is wonderful. You can talk to each other. With Kostas and I, we have regular Skype calls in which sometimes I have to not teach, but I have to inform him what I know about ornamentation, because that's what I've learned and studied in in performance practice, so he can benefit from that. But looking back, going feedback from him to works of Mozart, analyze them in a way that, yeah, also is refreshing for me. There is a mutual collaboration that I think would bring us on a higher level. Anyway, hope you like this just very short, I don't know if it's short, idea, and hopefully it can set some minds in thinking mode. If this is your first time here on the channel, I'd love to have you subscribed. I make a lot of videos on music from Bach to Beethoven, a little bit before, a little bit after. You see we are covering also newly written music from time to time. And if you would like to stay on top of everything, we have also a lot of live streams. There's no better way than subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon next to the subscription button so you can set your notification system to be notified from time to time if we have new videos of our live streams. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching and sharing this video with your friends, and we see each other very soon again. Bye.